Welcome to Help, I'm a Parent, Christian Parenting in the Real World. We're so happy that you have invited us to enter into your home, your church, or wherever you may be gathered today. Perhaps you're viewing this alone, or as a couple, or with a small group of friends, or maybe even a large church group, or maybe you're even watching this online. Wherever you are, we're just delighted that you have joined us on this program.
We're your hosts, Drs. Claudio and Pamela Consuegra. Together we serve as the Directors of Family Ministries for the North American Division of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. We believe that the most important role you will ever play is being a parent to your child. God has entrusted you with a treasure more precious than anything you could ever have owned. Throughout this series, we have looked at ways to help our children make Jesus their best friend, ways to deal with the continuous onslaught of media, ways to help our children make good health choices, and other topics as well. But the challenges that your 2-year-old may throw at you today are different than the 3-year-old of tomorrow. How can you possibly keep up? Well, today we're going to be looking at continuing our parenting journey.
Someone once said that a child is more like a movie than a photograph. In other words, the picture's always changing. You think you know them, and then they change. You see them grow taller. You see them do new things. As parents of 2 daughters, we can tell you that there are times when we thought we had this parenting thing all figured out. We thought we'd conquered the challenges of parenting, but we celebrated too quickly. And we soon realized the reality of parenting, that there is always tomorrow. The challenges change as the children grow and mature. No matter how old your child is, you are still their parent.
Every question needs an answer. So where can you turn? How do you know if you need professional help? Who can you trust to partner with you on your parenting journey? Are there any connections and partnerships that you can form to strengthen your role as a parent? Lots of people want to give you parenting advice. Other parents, grandparents, teachers, doctors, and even strangers on the street all have suggestions. They will share ideas about everything from hiccups to toilet training. Some people are gentle with advice, while other people are very pushy. Some advice may be good, and some not so good. So where is there help that I can count on?
Throughout this entire series, you've never heard us say, even once, that parenting was easy. Rewarding? Yes. But easy? No. In fact, parenting really is hard work. Nothing you ever do in your lifetime will demand as much time and effort. Working together as partners with someone else, however, can make the task easier. We want to thank you once again for being with us on today's program, but we invite you to stay with us as we talk about who we can go to partner with on our parenting journey. Today we're going to be discussing parenting partnerships. Where can you go when you need help? We have special guests today who will introduce us to some existing resources and help us think about finding trusted parenting partners.
Our guests for today are Edwina Neely and Carol Ann de Leon. Edwina holds a master's degree in speech pathology and is a certified teacher. Edwina believes that God has called her to nurture the souls and minds of God's most precious gifts, our children. She's been blessed with 4 children and 2 grandchildren, but having served as a classroom teacher for the past 37 years, I think perhaps she would tell you that she actually has been blessed with many, many children. Edwina developed a parent-teacher partnership that provides monthly meetings for parents.
In addition, we have Carol Ann de Leon. She's a registered nurse and holds a master's degree in marriage and family therapy. She's in the process of completing her doctoral degree, but then she decided to accept a higher calling to raise and educate their 2 children, Zachary and Jonathan. But now that her children are adults, she's once again working to complete her PhD in pastoral counseling. Carol Ann and her husband are the founders and speakers of Tu Familia Primero, a bilingual ministry focused on helping couples and families to live their God-given potential for happiness, purpose, and mission.
Edwin and Carol Ann, thank you for being with us. We welcome you to this today.
Thank you.
We're delighted to have you here. Before we begin, though, we want to show you a video of a young mother, and so we can learn the challenges that she may be facing, and maybe we can answer some of those challenges.
So just when I think I have it all under control, here comes a new challenge, a new question, something I didn't think about. Here comes Eve or Terry asking me, well, Mommy, what do you think about this? So, Mommy, what do you think about that? And now that I have learned how to be a good parent when it comes to social media and healthy living and being a responsible steward and singing and teaching them songs and helping to teach them how to get along better, what do I do now when they're no longer questions that a 5-year-old and an 8-year-old would ask, but they're questions that a 15-year-old and a 13-year-old would have and want to know? That's what I am scared about tomorrow, because I don't have all the answers and I don't know who is there to guide me. Is there someone that can give me advice and help and mentoring right when I need it? Just like I feel like my mom had with my grandmother or with my aunts and my neighbors and my friends. So at the end of the day, what I want to know is, how do I know I'm being a good parent? Because really and truly, I could sing to them, play with them, read Bible stories to them. But if I haven't instilled in them what they need to be young adults and to be adults, or to even be children, how do I know I've gotten it right? How do I know that they're ready to face all of life's circumstances? How do I know I'm being a good mom?
That is a tough question. How do I know I'm being a good parent?
Well, I think first of all, we're talking about partners, and we have to remember to partner with God.
That's the best partnership at all.
That's it, because see, God is with us all the time. He never leaves us, and He's given us these children that are gifts.
Right.
We have to remember them. Remember that they are gifts from God, and then He has gifted them. So He's there, right there. He's already put in them what He wants them to be.
So really, Edwina, what we're doing, we are co-parenting with God.
That's it.
I mean, that's an awesome thought.
We're called to be
think that the best partner we could have is God.
That's right.
And to enter into a relationship of being co-parent with Him.
With Him.
Yes.
That's right.
But at the same time, some people would say, well, I believe in God, but I need someone with flesh. Who are our parents then in this parenting adventure?
That's a really good question, and I think that for those of us that have our parents nearby, parents are a wonderful resource and are
Yes.
wonderful partners. But the reality of our culture is that children and parents oftentimes live very far away from each other. And that's where I think that it's such a blessing to have church communities where we can have surrogate grandparents for our kids. There are so many people in our congregations that have their grandchildren very far away from them and are so happy and willing to come in and become grandmas and grandpas for our children because their own are so far away.
Right. What about
And
the
these
school?
grandparents too can be support in the way of taking the child and giving mom a break.
Yes.
Right.
You know, my
yes.
husband would take our grandbaby to work with him once a week. And mom had a break,
cool.
and he works at a senior facility. So this baby has learned to love elderly people
Sure.
and to see how he can bring joy to them.
Yeah.
Wow.
So even if the grandparents do not
Yes.
live close,
Yes.
we can still find a partner in those those lovely senior people,
Seniors.
whether in the church, in the community, or like you just mentioned, even in a nursing care facility. It still provides our little children opportunities to interact with those
With older
senior
adults.
senior adults.
That's right.
Of course, Joey also had a very important question. When I need help, you know, it's not just partnering now, but when I feel like I need help, Who do I go to? And how do we know that we're going to the right person? Now, you're a counselor, a marriage and family counselor. What would be your advice to Joy?
There are certainly situations that warrant reaching out for a professional help. And I think that's sometimes difficult for parents. It kind of sometimes admits maybe we haven't done something right. And so we will hesitate to seek that outside help. And yet, if parents would not take it maybe as personally and would realize, you know, these are wonderful children God has given me. There may be something within me that's requiring me to seek professional help as a mother. If I'm depressed, if I'm experiencing anxiety, if I'm experiencing anything that is robbing my ability to be there in the moment and present for my children, it means I need to reach out. And Christian counselors are all throughout America. I know that you too have helped, really contributed to the list of resources. So there is an NAD, Family Ministries resource of different places where people can reach out. And we always recommend Christian counseling. There is a big difference between going to a secular counselor and going to a Christian counselor. It's really important to have someone that's Bible-based and that will support your biblical principles. But there are lots of situations that will require us reaching out to a professional.
So let's go over that list again.
Yes.
The list that tells me, or some of the signs that may tell me, you know what, maybe this isn't a situation where I can talk to my mother about or a church member. For these situations, these are signs that I may need to seek professional help. What are they again?
So seeking professional help for me and or for the parent.
For the parent.
So the signs would be this: depressions, and signs of depressions would be changes in my sleep patterns. I'm oversleeping or not being. I have insomnia. Changes in eating patterns. I haven't lost my appetite, or I'm completely overeating and compensating for my stress by overeating. Any kind of anxieties that are really nervousness. I'm screaming at my kids in ways that I know is hurting them, but when I'm feeling out of control and I'm acting and behaving as a parent in ways that I know are hurting my children, but I seem to be out of control, any of these circumstances would warrant a visit with a marriage and family.
And you really can't talk about those things to mom or dad or a brother or sister. You really need someone that has the training to help you with that.
Yes, and that will have an unbiased opinion too, that will be able to reflect back to you without having that connection of your mother may say, oh, I was just that way, don't worry about it. Well, no, you don't need to hear that.
And I also like how you kept the focus on seek biblical-based counseling.
Yes.
You know, it's not just going to any professional counselor out there, but really seek a godly counselor.
Yes, Pam.
A counselor who believes in the scriptural principles and relying on God.
Absolutely, Pam, and that will support you in your values and biblical beliefs as well. So you need that support.
I wanted to ask Edwina, because you've been a teacher for so many years, how does that relate as a teacher to parents who are in need? Can you identify them as a teacher, and what help can they get from a teacher or from a school?
Right. Yes, I'm always telling the parents that I believe parents and teachers are partners. You are putting your child in my care for many hours in the day. And the teacher has insights that they can share with you about your child, how they learn, the temperament, how give strategies to you on how you can teach them at home, help them with homework. So it's so many things that the teacher can do for you.
Yeah, don't try to do it alone. Get into a team effort with the teacher. You know, it's interesting that you mentioned the teacher can help the parent teach their children at home.
And I have found that when parents partner with me, the children are more successful in school. We're working together to make sure they are successful.
And even in this young age, because this series is for children birth to age 7. So even in age 7, at the upper end where we're talking about, we have children throughout the span who are in preschool, kindergarten, first grade. You know, so we're still dealing with the ability, perhaps, for parents to have a partnering opportunity with
And
the child's
come out
teacher.
to those parent-teacher conferences. Many
Yes.
parents don't, you know.
True.
Your teacher is there to help you.
You know, that's a key that you just mentioned.
Yes.
Be involved in the education of your children.
Right.
Talk to your teacher. Those parent-teacher conferences, actually, if they're scheduled, make sure you're there.
Absolutely.
But even if they're not scheduled,
You can schedule one.
talk to your child's teacher. How can I partner with you as my child's teacher?
And by doing that kind of partnering, Pam, it's interesting. Kids know when teachers are in communication with their parents.
do.
Yes, they do.
They know it. They know that education is really valuable. If my mom and or dad are getting involved in this, I better get to work and take this seriously. So they feel that support, and they're going to perform better when they know that teachers and parents are
Using
working
the same language at home as in school.
Exactly.
And maybe there are issues or challenges the parent is facing at home. Maybe there's been the death of a loved one or even the death of a beloved pet.
Yes.
And so the parent communicating that with the teacher
Yes.
will just help both of you to be on the same page as you help the child deal with that issue.
So true.
Early in the life of a child, some mothers anyways experience depression,
Yes.
the postpartum blues, those kinds of
Yes.
things. So in the last few seconds that we have, what would you be able to tell them in 2 or 3 things, 2 or 3 steps to those mothers that are experiencing that?
Well, number one, it's so important for a mother to get treated. Why? Because a mother's depression, all the studies are showing that depressed mothers are depressing their children. There's more and more evidence that children are going through years of undiagnosed depression. And interesting that children will not do depression like their adult mother will do it. Children will typically be angrier, defiant, agitated, sensitive, defiant. They're gonna do depression very differently. And unfortunately, when a parent sees a defiant, disobedient, angry child,
So that would be the first of 3 you said.
Yes.
We're going to take a break, and then when we come back, you can tell us the other 2 things that a parent can do.
awesome.
You can probably already tell that we will not be able to cover every area, every concern, or every question you may have with one single parenting resource. Parenting will continue to produce new challenges and questions every day. As our children grow and change, so do the parenting challenges.
And therefore, our goal is to continue this conversation with you as parents by providing you with up-to-date resources and parenting tools. We will do this online via our parenting website. There you will find out about any updates to these materials, and in addition, you can receive downloadable resources on a regular basis.
You may also ask any unanswered questions, subscribe to an electronic newsletter, read a blog just for parents, and much, much more. Again, the website is www.helpimaparent.org. We also have a Facebook page and group where we post daily resources. So look us up, Help I'm a Parent, there in Facebook. And remember also to share the daily posts with friends in your social network as well.
It's our desire that this resource will assist you in your God-given role as a parent, using principles that are firmly grounded in His Word. And now let's get back to the conversation with our guests on today's program as we continue this journey of exploring our role as parents that God gave us. May you be blessed today as you take on one of life's most rewarding tasks, that of raising your child to be a disciple of Jesus Christ.
Well, we want to continue the conversation that we started before the break. And Carol Ann, you were saying that for mothers that have postpartum blues, you recommend 3 things. First, that they get treated.
Right, and part of that treatment will oftentimes include being put on medication, and
Okay.
that's something that a lot of Christian mothers tend to resist.
So they would have to go to a doctor when you say be treated,
Yes.
at least to a doctor.
Yes, typically they will go. They'll be seeing their obstetrician postpartum,
Right.
and they'll be able to tell. And a good obstetrician will actually ask questions like, "Are you feeling blue?" At their first visits after they have their baby, they should be asking these questions. But if they're not, it's very important for a mother to be able to admit out loud, especially to her healthcare professional, that she's feeling not herself, that she's feeling blue, that she's maybe a lot of times mothers will start thinking ugly thoughts,
Right.
things that they would have never thought, things they want to do that they would have never thought of doing. And so these are warning signs.
What would be number 2?
Number 2, they need to be sure that during the period of postpartum depression, that if possible, there's someone with them. It's really important that depressed mothers, when you leave them alone at home with their baby, the burden of having to care for a newborn that's requiring every 2-hour feedings and changings, it's so overwhelming when you're feeling depressed that it's very important that they partner with their mother, somebody from the church. I mean, they have to reach out. They must find a partner to help them through that slump until they can start taking medication and until their neurotransmitters are back in balance again.
Be treated, find someone to help you through this difficult time.
Absolutely.
And
thirdly, I'm going to recommend that there's groups out there for mothers with postpartum depression. So feeling that she can connect to other mothers who are going through what she's going through is a tremendous partnership.
They can identify with each other's struggles.
Yes, and that will help her form just friendships with other new moms. So it will develop into, a little MOPS, group where just mothers that have little ones like her that are experiencing what they're going through is another incredible partnership that a depressed mom can form.
so, Carol Ann, we've talked about the signs that we need to look for in ourselves as parents, that we need professional help. But what about our children? Even now, young children display signs and symptoms that professional help is needed.
You probably see that with
I
a
see
teacher.
that.
So as a teacher and as a counselor, what are those signs that we need to look for?
Yes.
Yeah, in the classroom, I can see the behavior of the children change.
The behavior change.
The behavior change.
So something that's normal behavior all of a sudden
It
just
changes.
stands out.
And I had one little boy, he became so sad. And I had to talk to the mom, and she told me that, something had happened, they had separated. So that's one of the really key things. If you see a big switch in the way this child is behaving in class, that's a sign right there.
Are there times when you can see the child's behavior has changed, but the parents has not realized
There are
that?
times they say, "Oh, thanks for telling me," and I say, "You want to get help." I always encourage them to get help.
And there again, once again, that's the importance of partnering with the teacher, of making sure you have a good relationship with whoever that child's, whether it's a babysitter actually, a preschool teacher, or a classroom teacher, that you establish that partnership with whoever else, joins you in the caregiving role of your child.
Absolutely. And I just wanted to add, Pam, that depressed kids typically don't always look sad. They will oftentimes become aggressive, hostile, disobedient,
Angry,
defiant, tantruming. So
That's why I
they
said
will
behavior.
will do those kinds of behaviors when indeed they're feeling sad and depressed.
It's a way of getting attention. It's just that it's negative attention. They're seeking positive attention, but at least that's their way of crying for help.
Absolutely.
But I think perhaps the biggest hurdle to overcome, whether I need professional help as a parent or whether I need to seek professional help for my child, the biggest hurdle is, this means I'm not a good parent. This means I'm not doing my
I'm failing.
job. I have failed as a parent.
Yes.
So how do I deal with that? How do I get beyond that and realize that seeking professional help is not a failure?
Yes.
Yeah,
And
I tell the parents too that as a parent, you want to be the best you can be.
Yes.
Think about it. If something happens to the car, you will get it fixed.
Sure.
So if something happens in your family, you're just being responsible and getting your family fixed. Get help. And it's okay. It's good.
You're not embarrassed to take the car to the mechanic.
You're not embarrassed to take the car.
Or we go to the dentist if we have a toothache.
That's right.
Or if a child has an ear infection,
That's right.
And
we will quickly seek.
Yes.
And it is better to seek help rather than letting the family fall
help.
apart
Yes.
or the child need even more serious treatment later on.
And we put it on God sometimes. Well, we'll pray about it. I said, but if your car needs fixing, you might pray that you find the right mechanic for your car.
That's
That's
very
right.
You're still
true.
going to go.
You're still going to get some help.
That's
And
so
in this
true.
case, you're going to pray
Pray.
that God will lead
Lead
you
you to the
to a
person.
godly counselor
That's right.
who will help you.
That's
But you're
right.
still going to
Still
seek
gonna-
that help.
That is right. It's the most loving thing to do.
That's right. And that's important, Carol Ann,
It's the most loving thing.
that
to
you
most
do this
loving
out of
thing.
love.
Love.
Because you love your child and you want to be
Yes.
the best parent you can be, like you said.
Now we have the partnership of the school or the teacher. What about the church? We haven't talked about that partnership.
An incredible resource. I know in one of the churches in our conference currently, they've started a parent prayer, phone-in prayer weekly. Can you imagine the beauty of that?
Talk to us about that, because that's a great practical idea.
It's a practical idea. Anyone can start one. So it's a call-in prayer, pray for your children hotline, if you will, and they pray let's say every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. after the kids are in bed, and they'll have an hour session, and anyone that wants to phone in and be part of that, the goal and the purpose is to pray for the children. And I think that's so powerful, because there is power in prayer, and we forget that. And so if there's nothing like that going on in your congregation, why not? And you see a need, why not start one?
Right. And you know what that does?
Uh-huh.
Because if you have, even if you that's a great idea, because sometimes I think if I don't have time, I can't go meet my prayer partner.
You don't have to get into your car
But
and
you
go
know what?
anywhere.
Because I'm a busy parent.
Yes.
I am, my child may be in bed.
Yes.
I can pick up the phone and pray with
Isn't that
somebody
cool?
on phone.
Yes.
That's an awesome idea. You don't have to even leave your house
Exactly.
to partner with someone else in parenting.
Exactly.
And of course, if I happen to be, I'm still thinking of the mother with postpartum blues or with the little toddler.
Yes.
Don't wait until someone approaches you. Go to the
Yes.
pastor, or maybe go to one of the ladies in the church, a deaconess, or one of the leaders in the
Family
church.
ministries director of the church.
Family ministers, directors. So seek help. Don't just wait till
Be
the
proactive.
Yes. Those are great ideas. Just in a minute or so that we have left, is partnership with God important?
Oh, definitely. That's what I started off with.
The most important partnership. And I think that
with
if we
God.
have that partnership, He will give us the wisdom to be able to know where else to form our partnership.
That's right.
The most important.
That's right. So when we partner with Him, the
Yes.
other partnerships will
Fall
fall
into
place.
place. That's right.
Listen, thank you so much for being with us today. We look forward to hearing more about the work that you do as a teacher, the work that you do with counseling, especially with parents. And we want to thank you for joining us as we explored some of the challenges of parenting today. We invite you to visit our parenting website, helpimaparent.org. There you will find many additional resources and materials.
And when you feel like screaming out, "Help, I'm a parent," claim God's promise. Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand.
Regardless of the challenges of parenting, God is with you. You're not alone. Reach out, claim His promises, and take His hand and journey together with Him.